Forests are portals to places of peace, both outside and within us. I'm a forest ecologist. I study rainforest canopies, and I'm passionate about sharing my understanding of forests with others, especially with those who can't visit nature themselves. And one group are the incarcerated, those who live at an enforced distance from our natural world. In 2004, I started a project to bring nature and science education to prisons in Washington state. In partnership with conservationists, inmates learned how to raise endangered frogs and butterflies and prairie plants, really helping to save these species from extinction. This project has expanded to over 90 prisons across the United States. But I soon realized that there's a population within prisons that I couldn't include because of security reasons. Those who live in solitary confinement, the prisons within prisons. How could I bring nature's benefits here? Well, in other places that are stressful and nature deprived, such as hospitals, for example, studies have shown that when patients can view trees or view tree images, their levels of stress go down. And so I began to think that perhaps we could use this in solitary confinement cells where nature is nowhere. But when I offered this idea to prisons in Washington state, the officers perceived this activity as coddling the prisoners, and so they blocked my efforts. Well, in 2010, I gave a TED talk about this idea, and to my amazement, 2 years later, I got a phone call from a security officer at the Snake River Correctional Institution, a maximum security prison in Oregon. He saw my talk, and he wanted help to try to implement this intervention in his institution. So I gathered a multidisciplinary research team to find out whether seeing and viewing nature imagery could result in a reduction of stress and a reduction of violence. For our pilot experiment, we used a cell block that was divided into two halves. And in the exercise room of one half, the officers installed a projector to show nature videos. And for the inmates on the other half of the cell block, no videos were shown. Inmates could choose one out of 38 videos that we had to watch while they exercised for 1 hour every other day. And after a year, we interviewed those inmates. We found that 90% of them felt that the nature imagery intervention caused an improvement in their moods. They felt a reduction in agitation and in irritability and an increase in calm. 80% of them said that they were able to take that sense of serenity back with them to their cells. Our staff surveys revealed that staff thought that 90% of the staff thought that this intervention did calm the inmates. But something unexpected happened, something that we weren't expecting. The officers were able to cultivate the ability to observe the inmates before they got agitated. And they offered them extra time in what they called the blue room, the room with the videos, and to therefore diffuse potentially volatile situations. So there was a shift from relying only on punishment to mindfully using peaceful conciliation in this situation. Probably the most remarkable result was that those inmates who saw the nature videos committed a 26% lower number of violent infractions. And this translates to 13 fewer violent infractions over the year, which is a substantial reduction, given that nearly every event like that results in the injury of either the inmates or the staff or both. And so our results really, I think, right now are preliminary, but they are promising. Already, prisons in the states of Washington, Oregon, Nebraska, Wisconsin, and Alaska have adopted this intervention. But as one of the inmates wrote on his survey, this intervention is not an overall solution to confining human beings over extended periods of time, something that we do to 2 million Americans. But I think that it sheds some light in the darkest parts of incarceration. It recognizes the power of nature on the nature of humans. And in this violent world, it provides a small but very real portal to peace. Thank you.